afternoon. My name is Caitlin Caldwell, and today I want to talk to you about the importance of being interculturally competent. The story I've chosen to exemplify the importance takes place in the Chinatown of Oakland, California. Here, Asian Americans have faced violent and verbal attacks exemplifying the explicit bias towards Asian Americans within these communities. Since the outbreak of the pandemic, hate crimes against Asian Americans have increased by over 150%, even though the overall hate crime rate has been on the decline. Many Americans wanted someone to blame in this scary and confusing time. Research on the origins, spread, and treatment of the virus were all new. This lack of knowledge fueled hatred towards Asian Americans. Because the first outbreak occurred in Wuhan, China, many were quick to blame the Chinese. I'm sure many of you have heard the theory that the Chinese developed the virus in a lab. However, there is little to no evidence to support this theory. It also poses several questions, such as why would the Chinese unleash such a deadly virus on their own people? And even if they did, what would it have to do with Chinese Americans, or all Asian Americans for that matter? In my opinion, this is a classic example of the stereotype in America that all Asians are the same. Social media and news articles have also helped spread the belief that the Chinese were to blame for the pandemic. President Trump himself called COVID-19 the Chinese virus and even the Kung flu on national television. In my opinion, it's foolish to blame an entire race of people for a global pandemic because of the place of its origin. We cannot go on using ignorance and a lack of knowledge for the explicit bias and prejudice being showed to Asian American communities. As time passed, circumstances have improved in the U.S. for Asian Americans due to further research and the actions of groups such as Stop AAPI or Asian and Pacific Islander Hate. As we move forward, I have a question for you. How can we do better? Well, we must learn to be culturally competent. To do that, we must first understand what it means to be culturally competent. By definition, being culturally competent is the ability of an individual to understand and respect values, attitudes, beliefs, and more that differ across cultures, and to consider and respond appropriately. You may be thinking to yourself, well, how do I do that? So I'll leave you with some tips. First of all, I want you to do your research. Spend some time researching other cultures. Second of all, don't make assumptions. If you don't know, politely ask or turn to Google. Just make sure that your sources are reliable. Third, I want you to stop trusting politicians, news articles, the internet, and social media so easily. Oftentimes, these sources will publish untrue information just to get your attention. Lastly, I want you to learn to keep an open mind and be accepting of all people. I hope you leave here today with the knowledge of the importance of being culturally competent and a desire to be better, not only as an individual, but as a society.